as a representative of many Jewish New Yorkers, including those in Park Slope, East Kensington, and Borough Park. I'm here with many esteemed leaders of the Jewish community to raise concerns about Republican gubernatorial candidate Carl Paldino. I'm joined by Assemblyman Joe Hyken, City Councilmember Steve Levin, and many other community leaders who are here today with us. In times of economic crisis, it matters a great deal what political leaders and candidates say. When people lose their jobs, when they can't pay their mortgage and they're anxious about losing their homes, when families and communities feel the strain of not having enough resources to meet their needs, these are precarious times. In these times, some leaders seek to bring out the best in people, to encourage people to reach across lines of race and religion, and to come together to confront shared challenges. When FDR gave his Four Freedoms speech, which we're memorializing right now in New York City in the East River, he was calling on Americans to find strength in our diversity and not to allow fear and hatred to divide us. Unfortunately, in these same times, some leaders choose the opposite path. In the name of populism, they exploit fear, not only economic and political fears, but also racial and religious ones. They suggest, either explicitly or implicitly, that the problems society is facing are caused by Jews, or by African Americans, or by Muslims, or by lesbians and gays. As Jews, we have too often seen the very dangerous outcomes of this so-called populist leadership. We've seen angry rhetoric spill over into racism and anti-Semitism. So when we hear politicians use coded religious and racial language in an angry political attack, couched in economic populism, we know we must speak up. Does Carl Paldino have the right to call the Orthodox Jewish Speaker of the New York State Assembly an Antichrist or a Hitler? Does Carl Paldino have the right to say he'd like to bring Shelley Silver to Attica with an opportunity for people in, as he says, those small towns along the thruway to have the opportunity to beat him up a little? Does Carl Paldino have the right to forward emails that portray the President and the First Lady, an African-American family, as a pimp and a prostitute, or to cast the administration as an African tribe, or to use the N-word? Of course he does. Thankfully, in this country, we protect freedom of speech. But we're here today because we believe that those comments, that attitude, that approach to inciting fear and anger and division, rather than working to bring people together in tough times, renders Carl Paldino totally unfit to be governor of this great and diverse state. And we believe that it's the obligation of Jewish New Yorkers and everyone in the city who cares about tolerance to speak up loudly and to say so. That's why I'm proud to be here today with a range of Jewish leaders, and it's my privilege at this time to introduce a few of them to say a few words and take questions. First, we have one of the most esteemed leaders in the Jewish community in New York State, Assemblyman Joe Hyken.
First of all, let me just make it very, very clear. I'm not here today as a Democrat, as a Republican, or any other political affiliation. As many of you might know, I have supported Republicans very often, in the past and even in the recent past. I also want to make it very, very clear that my own personal feelings about Tea Party activists in the state of New York, I respect them. I might disagree with some of their points of view, but it is wonderful that more people in our state, in our country, are getting involved. It is a wonderful phenomenon. Let me point out that I represent a community, I think, of the largest number of Holocaust survivors. There are less and less of them as the days go by. And the people here from different neighborhoods, it's the same, in Williamsburg and so on. My parents are survivors. My mother was in Auschwitz. Her mother was murdered at Auschwitz. I was just there 2 weeks ago at Auschwitz-Birkenau and Majdanek to see what hate can do. Even language can lead to great atrocities. I gotta tell you, Paldino, a lot of people might agree with some of the things that he advocates in terms of policy, you know, I'm sure I agree with some of it as well. But it is beyond the pale. It is beyond acceptable to use language that he has used to refer to a Jewish leader as a Hitler. Has Paldino read his history? Does he know what Hitler represents? Does he know that Hitler represents the final solution, the murder of 6 million men, women, and children? Does he realize that when he used that word, or he referred to silver as the Antichrist? There's a long history of pogroms and anti-Semitism all over Eastern Europe relating to us Jews being the Antichrist. And a man running for the highest position in the state of New York uses that kind of language, approves of someone else using that kind of language. It is unconscionable. It is degrading. It is insulting. And this is the man running for the highest position for governor of the state of New York. I know that Mr. Paldino takes great pride, you know, that he is not ashamed of anything. You know, that itself is a tragedy, because everyone should have some shame sometimes. We all make mistakes. We all know how to apologize. And he takes pride. By the way, that is not a Jewish tradition. You know, I have no shame. You can say anything about me. The truth doesn't matter. I have no shame. He should be ashamed of himself for his racist remarks. I'm not a great fan of the President of the United States at all. But racism is unacceptable, period. And this man indulges in racism. This man is dividing the people of the state of New York, upstate, downstate, the good, the bad, the ugly. What the hell is wrong with him? Is he out of his freaking mind? What is this going to accomplish at the end of the day? Is this how he wants to be successful? By getting the anger of people through hate? You know, maybe he's not going to come to Albany with a baseball bat. But you know what? He might encourage someone else to come to Albany with a baseball bat, and I might be the victim. And the other violence that he preaches, maybe he's not going to do it. He doesn't really mean it, that he's going to beat up on Shelley Silver. But you know what? There are a lot of people in this state who might take his advice and beat up on some member of the legislature. You want to beat up on me verbally? You want to say nasty things about me? Just don't call me Hitler. Just don't call me Antichrist. Because I take that to heart. I take that very personal, and every Jew and every New Yorker should feel the same way. I can understand frustration on the part of people. I understand that. But you can't cross the line. It is unacceptable. Thank you.
Next up, we have another member of the City Council representing Williamsburg and Brooklyn Heights, Councilman Steve Lett.
Thank you, Councilmember Lander. Thank you, Councilman Eichen. I am here today. I represent a large section of Williamsburg. I represent many Jewish people of all different types, Reform, Conservative, Orthodox,